Our second guest of honor, Rear Admiral Andrew Granuzzo, served in the military for 42 years. Now, Admiral's story is fairly unique. He actually entered the Navy as an enlisted sailor. He was picked up by the Naval Aviation Cadet Training Program and served in the attack helicopter squadron in Vietnam. Eventually, he was promoted to CO of Helicopter Anti-Squadron 15. He also served as navigator on a USS Forrestal. He arrived on the Incheon on October 3rd, 1985, and served until August 2nd, 1987. Unfortunately, Admiral, I was not part of the ship at that time, but would have enjoyed serving underneath you. After his tour of duty on the Incheon, he then became commanding officer of the USS Saipan. In 1991, he was promoted to Rear Admiral and served as a flag officer for 9 years. He commanded the Naval Safety Center I'm sorry, I'm trying to read my doctor handwriting here again. He commanded the Navy Safety Center and was integral in developing principles of risk management reduction in naval operations, which led to fewer fatalities and fewer injuries for sailors in the Navy. He also directed counter-narcotics operations from Key West, Florida. He was Deputy CINC at NATO headquarters in Lisbon, Portugal, before retiring from the Navy's Environmental Safety Unit, period. During his service, that's like I'm dictating, he earned the Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit Medal, Air Medal, Navy Commendation Medal, and the Vietnam Service Ribbon Award. So, Rear Admiral Granuzzo, thank you for your time on Incheon.
I think he's been drinking more than I have. That was perfect. Well, I gotta tell you, I've got about 4 or 5 minutes of stuff here, but a few extemporaneous remarks first. President Coleman, once again, great job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Fixie, what can you say? You're the hero. We're going to pin a big star on you, and I hope we can continue to do this for a number of years.
Amen.
Captain Rupert, I didn't know we had so much in common. I too had an experience with a Florida Highway Patrol officer who happened to have served. And I too had an experience in the North Atlantic with a CBDR contact while I was hooked up to the oiler. But maybe my crew was a little more attentive than yours. They told me long enough in advance where I got slowed down a little bit. We slowed down. I think we got down to 8 knots. And this guy went in front of us at 500 yards. Okay, keep on, refuel, no problem. But it was, and those are the stupid kind of things that happen. And it's not unusual, because the people in those civilian freighters are on autopilot, you know. They have autonomous ships. We think we're going to get autonomous cars pretty soon, but they've had autonomous ships forever. And since, you know, the autopilot was invented for ships. And that's all they do. Anyhow, that's a good thing. All right. Yes, Tom, thank you for the introduction. Good job. You know, you missed a couple of things there, but we're not going to worry about that.
Period.
As many of you know, Incheon is a first ship for aviators, you know, aspiring to further command. And for me, it was very special, as it was, I'm sure, for it all. I was fortunate in that I had been the navigator of an aircraft carrier a few years before and served under 3 great captains. And, you know, there was nothing I hadn't seen or think I hadn't seen or hadn't done. And so I knew or I thought I knew I was the best ship handler around. You know, maybe I was, maybe I wasn't, I don't know. But Incheon, I took it over in the yard in Philadelphia, and went through the light-off examinations and got it to sea. Went back to Norfolk, took it through workups, refresher training, Gitmo. We did a North Atlantic exercise, came back, and then went on to do a very successful med cruise. And the sailors of Incheon, you know, were superb, absolutely superb. And I will just always be so grateful for these folks who are with us, because after command of Incheon, I walked across the pier and took command of Saipan and went on to do other things. But Incheon was so special because I took it all the way through and just enjoyed the dickens out of it and had such great friends and great people here. Now, we come to these reunions for many different reasons. You know, some of us, and many of you here, served one tour and had a good time and said, gee, I want to see my shipmates and I want to come back. Well, you did that. And we're happy to see you. Many of us served a number of tours and were career people, but our time in Incheon was special. Some of us come because we want to introduce our spouses and friends to the life that we had years ago, and we see you here. But whatever the reason, you know, we're a family. And it's very, very special. Very special indeed. I've said this before, and I think the last time I spoke, I said, I got a leadership axiom that I've used for years, or I've heard. It isn't enough to care if the people don't perceive that you care. And I can tell you, The USS Inchon Association cares. It's evident here. We love it. You're here because you want to be here, because your time on Incheon was a happy time, because your time on Incheon you met nice people, you had good leaders. I know a lot of ships, a lot of squadrons, a lot that don't have this. We are very, very fortunate. And I'll tell you, the association cares, you care, because you're here. And I see us continuing this for a great number of years. Thanks very much. Good night.